Hey guys, welcome back to the GM's table. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. Now into it. I want to this hand. I want to talk about the Wise Guys demo kit. I'm going to be really honest here. I did not want to do a video about just the demo kit. Uh Full disclosure, I am in talks with Just Insert Imagination. If you haven't seen one of the dozens of posts I've been putting out, we're going to be running a Wise Guys campaign here on the channel before the setting's even out, which is really cool and I'm really excited about it. But when I was talking to Eric from Just Insert Imagination, I even said I didn't want to review the demo kit because I don't want to do a review of this and then do a review of the game and it get confusing. So with that, I want to put it out there. This is not a review. Instead, I just want to talk about what's in this because I actually think after running the demo, I think this is something just about everybody who's running Savage Worlds needs to pick up. Not just because it's free, and not just because I'm talking with them and I'm looking to plug it. That's not why. Again, I didn't actually plan on doing this video. But the heist rules in this demo kit are so good. And not just to run heists, though for heists, for anything where you need to be like, all right, we're going to plan, we're going to go in, we're going to cover all this stuff and get it done and keep it quick and keep it moving and keep it action-packed. It's great. But the heist rules are a modification of the dramatic task rules. And honestly, I may take these heist rules and use them instead of normal dramatic tasks. If you guys have seen my dramatic task videos, you know that's one of my favorite mechanics in Savage Worlds. So what's the big difference? Well, the primary difference is a quick overview of dramatic tasks. You get up to 5 chances to get a total of 5 successes. Pretty simple. You draw a card. As long as it's not a clubs, there's no additional penalties. Typically, dramatic task has -2 to everything. We're going to get into that with this. But you draw your card. If it's not a club, you just have the standard penalty. You make your check. If you get a success, you get 1 success. If you succeed, you get 1 success. If you get a raise, 2 successes. Every raise is an additional success. This does mean, and I've had it happen, where people will, on round 1, roll a 20. Which is success. Raise, 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 raise. There's your 5 successes and we're done. And I've always had it, well, that's one of the caveats of the system. Sometimes a dramatic task isn't as dramatic as you think. Now, that always twisted a little weird for me because the example in the core book is like defusing a bomb. And you use notice to find the bomb. And you use repair to then disable the bomb. But what if somebody rolls the 20 on notice? And it's like they just notice the bomb so well, they defuse it. Well, Wise Guys has a way around this, where there's going to be 5 rounds. There will be 5 checks. What's your raise then? You get +2 on the next check. This guarantees that if you have more complicated dramatic tasks that aren't all 1 check, like 1 skill, that you have to do all the skills. To me, that's actually huge. Now, if you're talking about stuff like ETU, where casting a ritual is a dramatic task, but every roll is ritualism. If you're talking about a dramatic task where every roll is the same skill, this isn't that big of a deal. But when you're talking about dramatic tasks that are supposed to have different phases and different skill checks in those phases, this kind of fixes that issue that I've always had. Now, if you don't have a problem with that, that's fine, but it's a very niche time, and it's always a risk where they roll. Typically, it's more like they get the first skill, then on the second skill, they might get a 16, or they get the first skill, they get a raise, second skill, they get a 12, and all of a sudden you're done. Now, in Wise Guys, 1 raise gives you a +2, and it ends. Now, if we're talking about true dramatic tasks, I'm okay with a +2 for every raise. Why? Well, first of all, you still have to do all 5 rounds. Fine. The bonus... Here's the thing, even if you're like to round 5, it's like, but I have a +6, I can't fail. You can still snake eyes. And if you have things where something bad happens on a 1 on the skill die, that can still happen. So there's always a slim chance. But even more than that, every 4 above your standard success is a raise, which gives +2 to the next check. That's diminishing returns. In the standard rules, every 4 above is another success. It just carries full on over. This cuts it in half. So if you did amazing in round 1 and rolled a 12, you're sitting on a +4 on the next one. Fine, you're guaranteed to succeed on the next one as long as you don't snake eyes. But if you would have succeeded, now it's just an 8, which only carries over a +2. See, it diminishes down. And I really like that. It lets you feel like those great huge rolls still impacted things, but they don't give an instant win state. And this isn't like I want to punish my players. If things are set out where we know cinematically we're going to have boom, 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 I don't like well, I did one roll and now it's done. It's the same reason I never liked social systems where it's like, well, I just roll persuasion. Oh, I succeeded. It's all over. I'm all for speed, but I want it to be interesting. And to me, rolling a 20 on your notice to find the bomb and now everything's done isn't interesting. Now, how they handle penalties in Wise Guys is based on security levels, which is its own mechanic, but basically what the security of the area is where you're doing an action from 1 to 5 will determine the penalty. The level just becomes the penalty. I like this, and now granted, depending on situations, you tweak it, but I also like that shifting scale of situations. Where you are, or maybe even that one specific task in the dramatic task, could have a different difficulty. I do very much like that. Now, if all your tasks are in one location, it's the security for the whole thing. It's standard. But like when I've run it, we've had people go, okay, but I want to do this thing. Like one of them, we had an impersonator. And we knew people were tailing one of the characters. So the impersonator went, well, I want to impersonate the character they're tailing. And I'm going to be nowhere near them, so that I can try and get it. It was wiretaps and stuff. So, well, then by your design, like by what you want to do, you specifically don't want to be in the casino, which was a -4. So what's the security where you're going to be? And we'll do that instead, which can get flavorful. It also means players can get more creative to try and mitigate those penalties. Now, something to note, how Wise Guys handles it, and this is what I really, really love for group dynamics. Each task, only one person takes lead. Standard. Anyone can assist. But once you take lead on a task, you cannot take lead on another task until everybody's taken lead. It makes sure everyone has the time to shine. For heists, that's great. Now, I will say that's not great for every dramatic task. Sometimes the whole dramatic task is that one player's one time where they really get to shine. They got 5 rounds where they are the star, basically. But if you want to enforce group dynamics, that's huge. Now, granted, if not everybody's there, like in a scene, don't be like, you weren't there, so now they can't succeed. No, that's being a dick GM. But I think there's some really great ideas even just in that. The heat system is really cool in this, which is how you kind of, playing a game of criminals, how do you keep things on the rail? Well, criminals don't want to get busted, so there's a whole heat system. Any underworld, any criminal game, this is going to be useful. But what I really like and what I realize is that heat system, once they hit 3, they're wanted and the police show up. But you could swap out wanted with enemy. And then you can have things where if you have your party actively working against an enemy and maybe they don't want to be found out or anything, any situation like that, you can use this heat system. And then if they reach the end, instead, they've been found out by the enemy. And maybe in this system, not only are they wanted, but the police immediately show up and have to deal with it. Well, with the enemy thing, you just have, like, the villain has sent goons, or maybe the villain even shows up and monologues and tries to stop them, and they gotta get away if it's a villain that's pretty much unstoppable how they currently are, which many villains can be. But this toolkit, they don't say demo game, they say demo kit, and I think that's incredibly accurate. On top of it, obviously, there's the whole adventure in here, which is really cool. If you've seen our run of it, still check out this adventure, because I had to rewrite the ending, for time. But the adventure in there is really cool. The pre-made characters are really, really nice in this. This is starting to sound like a bit of a review, but I do want to bring this up. Because the pre-made character is really, really nice in this because every character is 2 sheets. The first page is the character sheet. The second page lists every single edge they have that isn't in the core book. It also has their own table for interludes, so you know the character's backstory. So if you do an interlude thing, players can draw and look, and if they're really uncomfortable and you really need help them get into interludes, they can just read it, or they can take that as inspiration and do their own thing. It's very well thought out. Anyways, those are all side things. Honestly, the heist rules alone are worth checking this out and picking it up. I'm going to try and remember to put the link in the doobly-doo. I'm awful about remembering that, and I apologize. But honestly, if you're checking out Savage World stuff, if you're looking to run anything criminal or anything where you might need to have a montage of everybody in your group each doing a different thing to get a single goal, any of that kind of stuff, or if you just want to find an interesting way to tweak the dramatic task rules in general, check this out. This has surprised me. I was already excited for Wise Guys, and I'm extra excited because of the negotiations, the talks, and all that stuff. But after running it and getting to try these heist rules, even this product by itself, I'm so excited for. Anyways, I will catch you guys next time. Bye. If you like that video, check out another video over here. Whatever it is, it's probably pretty good. Don't forget to like, share so other people can find the channel, and subscribe right up there. YouTube now won't let me put a link to the Patreon, but there is a link down in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel, check that out, and I will catch you guys next time.